Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are having a good one. So today we're covering the history and origin of the 13 original primes. So these transformers are in no particular order and may involve some blending of the different continuities and universes. My goal here was really to try to put together a cohesive story for each of the primes without it really being too overwhelming or too detailed because there's a lot of info out there. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Number 1. Prima. The very transformer to ever be created by Primus himself, Prima was the leader of the 13 original primes, and he was given the title Warrior of Light. He was granted the weapon called the Star Saber, and within its hilt contained the Matrix of Leadership. Prima was tasked with defending Cybertron along with his brethren from Unicron, the sworn enemy of Primus, and also of life itself. Number 2. Vector Prime. Vector Prime is the appointed guardian of space and time who has existed for millions of years. Vector Prime wields the deadly sword Riesling, also called the Cyber Caliper, that is constructed from ethereal supermatter. This weapon allows him to slice through the very fabric of space-time and open up portals to other dimensions. He can also actively manipulate space-time, peer into the future, and also rewind time. Vector Prime's alternative mode is a Cybertronian spaceship armed with Gauss cannons and torpedoes that disrupt causality when fired. Number 3. Megatronus Prime, aka the Fallen. Megatronus Prime was initially responsible for guarding entropy in the universe. However, he became obsessed with it and began to study the dark sciences. Megatronus' prime tampering in the dark studies led him to Unicron, to whom he utterly gave himself and pledged his allegiance. Megatronus Prime was also responsible for the murder of Solas Prime. This led to his exile by Primus. Now filled with rage and hatred, Megatronus Prime has vowed to wage war against Primus and all of his Transformer creations for eternity. Number 4. Nexus Prime. Nexus Prime was the first Transformer that exhibited abilities of a combiner and was the guardian of rarefied energon. The 5 different combiners that made up Nexus Prime were Skyfall, Landquake, Breakaway, Topspin, and Heatwave. Nexus Prime was the greatest experimenter of all of the 13 primes, and often created new elements. He also had fallen in love with another prime, Solas Prime. Number 5. Logos Prime. Logos Prime also possesses power over space and time, similar to Vector Prime. But unlike Vector Prime, he can take any name and form that he chooses, and is also known as a Sound Blaster. Number 6. Micronus Prime. Micronus Prime is the smallest of the 13 original primes. However, he serves as the moral compass and greatest sword of virtue for the group. Micronus Prime is also the father of the Minicons, and possesses a superior intellect and is often able to predict the actions of others before they can even act. Number 7. Liege Maximo. Liege Maximo was a master manipulator among the 13 primes and had diabolical tendencies of betrayal. He was responsible for manipulating Megatronus Prime into killing Solas Prime. This occurred because Liege Maximo desired the weapon of Solas Prime called the Forge Hammer. He desired this for himself and manipulated Megatronus Prime to end the life of Solas. He then betrayed Megatronus and took the weapon for himself. Later on in the future, Megatronus Prime found Liege Maximo's tomb, and by cybernetically augmenting himself was able to use Liege Maximo's arm in order to wield the Forge Hammer of Solas Prime for himself. Number 8. Solas Prime. Solas Prime was the master builder for the 13 original primes. She wielded the legendary Forge Hammer, which is able to fully repair a Transformer chassis, as well as their spark. She constructed the deadly Requiem Blaster for Megatronus Prime as well, whom she became close friends with, and also a suit of mystical armor for Liege Maximo. However, she was hesitant to give this armor to Liege Maximo, as she thought he would use it for the dark purposes and ulterior motives. As a result, Liege Maximo manipulated Megatronus Prime into acquiring the armor for him, and a fight broke out between Solas and Megatronus. While in combat, Megatronus accidentally discharged his Requiem Blaster, fatally wounding Solas Prime. Upon her death, Solas' body returned to the core of Cybertron to dwell with Primus. The Well of All Sparks was created in her wake. Number 9. Onyx Prime. Onyx Prime was the only prime to possess a beast mode, thereby making him the ancestor to all modern-day Transformers who also possess a beast alternative mode, such as the Predacons. Onyx Prime possessed a unique spiritual relic given to him by Primus himself called the Triptych Mask. This mask allowed him to cast his presence and spirit long distances, as somewhat as a form of teleportation. Onyx Prime was one of the most liked members of the 13 original Primes due to his kind and compassionate spark, despite his very intimidating stature. Number 10. Alchemist Prime. Alchemist Prime possesses an artifact called the lenses that are permanently affixed to his optics. They allow him to perceive the physical and spiritual realms in equal measure. Alchemist Prime can also transmutate metals and can alter their very characteristics. Number 11. Amalgamist Prime. Not much is known about Amalgamist Prime, however he is an excellent shapeshifter, and possesses the very first transformation cog as well. His weapon of choice is the Scythe, and he frequently mines Energon along with Micronus Prime and Liege Maximo. Number 12. Quintus Prime. Quintus Prime was the scientist among the 13 original Primes. He possessed the Emberstone artifact, which allowed him to speed up life in its biological processes. He was also responsible for creating the Quintesson race. And last but not least is number 13, Alpha Trion. Alpha Trion is the head record keeper in the Iacon Hall of Records. He was known to communicate closely with Optimus Prime during the Great War of Cybertron, although at that time, Optimus was known as Orion Pax. He was careful to do this in secret as he officially never took a side in the war, but in truth favored Optimus and his cause more than Megatron's. He is also the guardian of Vector Sigma and holds its circuit key with his life. He is one of the oldest and wisest of all the Transformers. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video today. And stay tuned for more content as well. And as always, be well, and we'll see you next time.